Welcome back to Tech Visa. This is episode number 14, and we have a massive announcement for you today. A topic of conversation that I know viewers and listeners are dying to get answers to. And yes, you guessed it, it's permanent residency pathways for short-term 482 visa holders. We got a very special guest on the mic today. He's gracing us with his presence for the third time round, the Beard, the co-founder of Tech Visa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Sam Bricknell.
Oh, thanks, Zach. That's an awesome intro. Cheers, mate.
All right, Sam. So earlier this year, Minister Claire O'Neil stood up. She dropped an absolute bombshell announcing that all 482 visa holders would have pathways to permanent residency. But like with most announcements from the Department of Home Affairs, we were left with more questions than answers. And this was no different. I'm so excited to sit down with you today because we have clarification on all of these questions that we've been waiting for so long. Can you just quickly explain, before we dive into what the new changes are going to look like for 482 visa holders, can you just quickly give us an overview of what the current 482 visa process looks like in order to transition to permanent residency?
Right now, if you're on a 482 visa, so you've been nominated by your business, you need to be on that visa, on that 482 visa for 3 years. And at the end of that 3 years, so you go all the way through last day of 3 years, on the 3 years and the first day, you're eligible to apply for permanent residency through the 186 TRT stream. There's a short-term list and the medium to long-term list. If you're on the short term, then no dice. For so long it's been 2 years, and then you could apply for another 2-year visa, but then that was it, no PR options. But if you're on the medium to long-term list, then yeah, you had to be nominated on a 4-year visa to then be able to apply just after you'd hit that 3-year point. So all of that's going to change. There's some amazing news that we're going to go through today, obviously. So yeah, really pumped to cover it off and give some people some good news.
All right, Sam. So this huge announcement gets made, permanent residency pathways for all 482 visa holders. So it sounds pretty basic from a top line perspective, but as professionals in this industry, we know there's a lot more intricacies to this. So what I thought we'd do is let's break this down into two main parts. So the first announcement is, if previously you needed to be on the medium-term skilled occupation list in order to transition to permanent residency, now that's no longer the case because it's open up to all 482 visa holders. So what exactly does this mean?
So yeah, I guess it's like we were talking about just before. Had the short-term list and the medium-term list. Only the medium-term list had that option to go for PR, or the ability to apply for PR through that 186 transition stream. Now they've changed that, and there's no limit. So you can be on the short-term list or the medium-term list and get access to PR through 186 temporary transition. So all you need is for your company, once you've hit a certain point, to be able to say, yes, we support your permanent residency application, and then you can get that process kicked off, even if you have been on the short-term list for the last few years.
And Sam, we often have this conversation sort of like behind the scenes. It's crazy. Sometimes you see people relocating their whole families to Australia who are on the short-term skilled occupation list, right? And there's just no pathway moving forward to permanent residency, which means you sort of have like that 4-year period in Australia, and then you're out.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like when they were talking about all of this way back, it was, they almost made a choice of, these roles are less critical, these ones are more critical. What they've said is, okay, that probably wasn't the case. You see all these amazing occupations on the short-term list that they're critical to the success of so many of the companies we work with. So yeah, the fact they've seen that, they've identified it and said, you know what, let's bring them all together, and everyone should have access to PR. Everyone's been contributing the whole time as well. That's the other key thing. People have been here working, contributing, spending on things, paying taxes. So it's just it's due reward for most people, I think.
So in addition to, I guess you can say, consolidating these occupation lists or allowing all 482 visa holders a pathway to permanent residency, the time period in which you need to hold that 482 visa has also been reduced. Talk to me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, again, it's great news. So previously, or up till now, it's been 3 years in your role, and then you can apply for permanent residency after that. Now they've rolled that back to being 2 years in your role on a 482 visa. So it's important to distinguish that bit as well. So if you're here on a working holiday, then you go to a 482 and then you go for PR, the time on the previous visa doesn't count. So it's 2 years on that 482 visa, then you can transition. I guess it lets people plan a bit better. So, there's more they're more assured of, where they fit in the economy. They're more assured of where they fit in society and everything, because okay, I know that within 2 years I can apply for PR. I can then look to really plan my life and set up properly. And that's important for, just engagement of people wanting to be here and seeing this as the place where they can actually set up.
As I mentioned, when these announcements are made, we're usually left with more questions than answers. An implementation date for this to happen. So we were told towards the end of the year. So is that going to be, December 30, 2023 or the 1st of January, 2024? Sam, we have a date.
We do. And it's awesome. It's only a couple of weeks away. So we're looking at the 25th of November now. So it just means that if you're eligible already and you're maybe just over 2 years into your role and you were thinking, okay, I've got to wait until next September or October, it's not the case anymore. We could start kind of, I guess, working with people now to get their documentation together, knowing that this is going to be a thing by the end of this month. Obviously, like with anything, okay, that's an announcement that's been made. So it's an email that's gone out, but it still has to be legislated, it still has to go through. But the date's there. It's pretty much locked in. So we know that, by the end of this month, that pathway is going to be there. If you're eligible, then it's definitely worth getting in touch with whoever you've worked with before and just getting that process underway. At least understanding what the costs look like, what the timelines look like, what the process is, other documents you'll need. Get those things in line so that you're not looking at next year or something. Might as well get it kicked off straight away.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tech Visa. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, be sure to get in touch. We're more than happy to help out. Jump on a call. Until next time. Thanks, Sam.